My life is a story that is unique. It has many twists and turns, is full of triumph, defeat, stupidity, and great friends, great family, of betrayal, and of reconciliation. Of lust, of heartbreak, my life is one that I'm here to tell. What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here, and this is my story. Where should I begin? Well, like all good stories, I'll begin where my life began. And where my life began is Monday, February 3rd, 1997. Freeman Hospital, where me and my twin sister were born. Three months premature. I weighed 1 pound 7. She weighed 1 pound 7 and no, I weighed 1 pound 7.5. She weighed 1 pound 7. I always get our birth weights confused because there was only a half a pound separating us. So me and my sister spent we spent time in the NICU after we were born. I believe it was like 2 weeks after we were born, we were diagnosed with cerebral palsy. don't know how long we stayed in the NICU for. But I do know this. 1998, me and Whitney turned 1 year old. In fact, we were so small that our mom has told the story many times to us that we were so small that our heads went to the tip of her index finger and wrapped around her wrist. That's how tiny we were. Our first blanket was $1 bill. One of the things I remember, well, I don't remember per se, but I do remember what my family was telling me, is that once they heard the news that we may not make it through the night, my family went into the little chapel that they have in the hospital. And they began to pray, and they began to pray hard. And that's the only reason why I think we're here, is that God permitted it. 1998. It was either 1998 or 1999. It was in December, and we were waiting for the school bus to take us to school. I think we were in maybe kindergarten at the time, something like that. And I got so excited for the school bus. I slipped on some ice, and I fell head first into a patch of snow and ice. No scratches. My brain's just fine. But I did get out of school. My mom was going to send me to school, and my dad looked at her and he said, "Are you crazy?" Yeah. So I got out of school for that. 1999, nothing really happened of note. 2000, I don't remember anything about 2001, though. I do remember being somewhere and actually looking at the news while the Twin Towers was collapsing. think we were at my aunt and uncle's house, and we were watching it. I didn't really know what was going on. It doesn't really register in a 4-year-old's mind that this is a terror attack. I did think it was cool at the time, seeing how, like, the attack wasn't cool or anything, but I thought that seeing, like, the World Trade Center, and I live in Missouri, was pretty cool. Like, how is this possible? 2002, nothing really happened. 2003 is when I lost my great grandmother. She was a good woman. I do remember my grandma telling me she had dementia, and she was ready to go and see the Lord. I do remember going up there and playing catch with her and everything like that. Fun time. Now, nothing really significant happened from 2000 to 2003. But 2004 is basically when my life began to change. So, 2004, my parents divorced. I lost my favorite pastor, and I believe that's also when I had my asthma attack. It would have had to have been. So I'm gonna start with the loss of my favorite pastor. I did not know this at the time, but he was diagnosed with cancer, and he actually died of a heart attack. And when I received the news that he had passed away, I couldn't believe it. I'll remind you that I was 7 at the time, and I was thinking, how can he die? It just didn't click until a couple of days after. It clicked that he was truly gone. And it had an effect on me. But but do I miss him? Yes. But I know I'll see him again one day. Now we'll talk about my asthma attack. It was... I think it may have been on a Wednesday or something. Well, no. I think it was a Tuesday. Because I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. And my... my asthma attack literally came out of nowhere. I was sleeping on the couch. Because I didn't sleep in my bed when we lived in the Joplin trailer park for some reason. And I started to feel, the best way I can put it is I started to feel a fish out of water, like a fish out of water. I couldn't breathe, which was scaring me. And I ran to my grandma's room, and she woke up, and she said, "What's wrong?" I couldn't speak. She goes, lay down. She said to lay down, come and lay in bed with me. So I did that, and she had never seen me in the state that I was in, and she didn't know if I could have had a breathing treatment at the time or not. Turns out I could have, and she had to go in to my mom's room and twice. And they called 911. The firefighters, ambulance, and police all showed up. And I am sitting on my grandmother's lap, puking. Yeah. And I remember this plainly. The firefighter, he looked up at me because he was knelt down. He looked up at me in my face and he goes, "Can you say your name?" And I'm thinking, I can't speak. What makes you think I can say my name? Well, I tried. I couldn't. And so the ambulance took me, and the guy told me not to move, and he was taking my blood. Last needle, I flinched a bit, and he told me not to move. My mom was Uh, my 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 mom was right behind them and going to the uh, going to the hospital. I stayed in there for 3 days and 3 nights. Had to sleep on one of the most uncomfortable beds ever. Hospital beds are not comfortable at all. And food, yeah, it was okay. I'd rather have a home cooked meal though. And my dad came and he um, he came to see me every single day before he would go off and do his work. Um, and I believe it was maybe 2000. I think it was 2004 when I had my tonsils taken out. I am not for sure on that though. Um, now 2000. Now for the big event. That literally basically it pretty much changed everything. My parents' divorce. Turns out they were only married for 4 years. So 2000 from 2000 to 2004 they were married. And then I was 7 years old at the time. So I do remember them fighting. I do remember my mom taking Whitney and Kayla and leaving. She asked me if I wanted to go. I said no because I thought she'd come right back. I thought she was going to go to the store or something. And she never came back. And from what I've been told is that my dad took me to my Aunt Bessie and Uncle Perry's. And my Aunt Bessie said that, Cliff, this isn't right. These kids should not be split like this. We went to my grandmother's trailer because he was going to get the girls, and the cops were called. It was a big ordeal that I'm glad that they got divorced, honestly. Does it hurt? Does it still hurt? Every Father's Day? Yes, yes, yes. But I'm glad I'm nothing like my dad. I mean, I think the only thing I got about him was a little of his hair. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too deep into this. Okay, 2005. Anything of note in 2005? Oh, 2005 is when I moved from Joplin to Carl Junction. And that is also when I met my best friend, Anton. In Joplin, I also had in Joplin, I also had a friend. I also had a best friend named Evan. We were both into anime and cartoons and stuff like that, and it was fun. But I don't know where any of them are now. Any of my Joplin friends, that is. I lost touch with them after I moved, surprisingly. So that's when me and Anton's friendship started. Trying to think, is there any other thing in 2005 that happened that is of note? Oh yeah. I finally got to write, and my handwriting, I kid you not, was so bad I couldn't read it. In fact, there are times when I can't read it myself, from time to time. 2006. 2006 was when me and Anton started to hang out more and more. 2006 is also when we started our Fantasy League SUWWA. That was fun. Oh, and 2005 is when my mom got married to my ex-stepdad, Doug. I am not gonna go into that, though. I'll just put it to you like this. He was a jerk. A straight up bona fide jerk. And I'm glad he's gone. 2007. Nothing really happened in 2007. 2008. Nothing really happened in 2008. 2009. No. 2010. Oh, 2010 is when I became very addicted to pornography. I didn't know what pornography was at the time, but I knew what I was watching. Didn't know the term for it. All I knew is that it felt good, which now I know that it wasn't. 2011. I think 2011 is when I joined drama club. I may be completely off on that though. Anton had actually been talking to me about it, and I was hesitant. I think that's when I joined. No, I think it was my junior, maybe my sophomore. I can't remember. 2012. No. Actually, I gotta go back to 2000 and what was it, 8, 9, something like that. It was when me and me and Anton, excuse me, were in 4th grade, I think. And I spent the night with him for the first time. We had a blast. I do remember going to the Wolfman's house of screams and Oma and letting my fear come over me. Yeah. I was a big there's no nice way to say this about myself. So I'm just gonna put it, I was a big scaredy cat. So 2013. Nothing really happened. Besides, I think that was when my mom had finally got rid of Doug. Or that may have been the next year. So 2014. Oh, I'm forgetting something. 2000